Welcome to another Daily Classics Top Pick based on originality, condition, and price. Tonight's feature car is a 1985 and a half Porsche 944. My name is Rob Lofarice. You're watching the Daily Classics channel. Let's go check this car out. I found this car this morning on Facebook Marketplace. It's based in New York State. It's a 1985 and a half, and I'll explain that half in a little while. Porsche 944, 5-speed manual transmission. It's got 72,000 miles. And the seller is asking $16,000. And I'm not sure if the seller is a private party or a dealer, but for the purpose of this video, we're going to assume he is a dealer. The Porsche 944 has its roots from the 924. The 924 was, I'll share the tab to show what a 924 looked like. The 924 had its roots back in the 70s to replace the 914 at the time. And the thinking at Porsche was that the days of air-cooled engines were finally ending. And just like the Volkswagen Beetle, the 911 had an air-cooled engine. And the thinking was to become more modern with a front-engine, rear-drive car to compete with the likes of Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Audi at the time. And of course, as we know, this plan didn't work too well because it's 2024 and we're still building 911s. The 911s are now water-cooled, but still basically the same layout. But the 924 was a very stylish-looking car, and it started taking on a different look for the brand. And the 928 was built a little bit after and also had the same kind of silhouette to it. And that was the thinking at Porsche, to try to build a showroom that was much more modern. Now, the 928 was much more of a high-end luxury touring car. The 924 was more, we won't use the word budget conscious, but it was definitely more affordable for the time. So that was a 924, a nice looking car, didn't sell too well. They had made a turbo of this car as well. There was a turbo version also available at one time. But the 944 was launched in and I'll share this one. In 1982, the 944 was born and was built off the 924 type platform with a lot of changes and a lot of revisions to the suspension and layout of the car. And new for the 944, right away you can notice it was a 944 because it had these beautiful flared fender wells, both front and rear, and these are all metal and it's beautifully done. It had an integral front spoiler, which definitely looked more like an SCCA racer car, and built-in fog lights and all. And it had this nice wraparound rear spoiler too. The car was quieter. The car was more higher performing. It was a better handling car. And it was an all-around more of a race car image for the Porsche marque. So the 944 was also available later on with a turbocharged engine. The 944 Turbo is a very popular collector car right now, much more expensive than this car for $16,000, but you get what I have to say. Back in, if we look at the ad itself, and this is the actual ad, this is a 1985 and a half. He called it a 1985. But what happened was mid-year 1985, I was a dealer back then, and all of a sudden the car carrier dropped off some new Porsche 944s. And the first thing we noticed was, hey, wow, the interior is totally redone. You know, this whole new interior was new designed and new styled. The windshield was much more flush with the A-pillars, had new door panels, had new seating surfaces. It had better suspension, a bigger gas tank, and there were a lot of things done to this car in areas that you couldn't see on the outside, but the interior and also mechanically, the car was greatly enhanced. And that was a 1985 and a half model year. To give you a view what the old dashboard looked like, the old dashboard, if we look at this shot here, was much more squared off and a little more, older fashioned. Some people actually think this more like a Volkswagen type dashboard. It was pleasing to drive and was nice big controls, but obviously this design here that's in the feature car was much more modern and better looking. So the 1985 and a half Porsche was a big model year change, and if you're going to buy a 944, you definitely want to get a 1985 and a half. In 1987, the car was redesigned on the front of the car, and the 928 was redesigned back then too. And again, the front and the rear styling changed, but performance-wise, the cars are pretty much the same, even though the 944S is more desirable than 944 base model like this car is. But this person selling this car here doesn't have too many photos, which is unfortunate. I mean, if you're going to sell a car, put some photos in. It looks to be a nicely equipped car. It's got the The red color and metallic paint was more money back then. It's got a sunroof, and it's got the better Fuchs alloy Porsche wheels, which was an optional to have. So I'm thinking this car was a fully equipped Porsche 944 at the time. The reason I think this person is a dealer, because he went out and he copied a dealer brochure here, and he just copied everything in a dealer brochure and just put it in. So there's nothing about his personal ownership experience with this car. So this person is probably a dealer. On the price side, $16,000 is a lot of money for people that have been watching these cars all my life, like I have. But we got to remember, this is 2024, and people are spending $100,000 on a Ford F-150 pickup truck. $16,000 is pocket change for those folks to have something as nice as this for the weekend. So I think the car is probably worth in the $14,000 range, but if I had to go to 15 to make the deal, if the car is as original as he says it is, with no rust and original paint work, and it's been maintained, and there's no engine sludge, things like that, I might be a player to go 15,000 on this car. But so that's it. So the headlines on this car is, it's an original Porsche 944. It's a 1985 and a half model year, which is definitely the more desirable model year. Porsche 944s and 924s are definitely going up in price. Will they go to a $50,000 level? Some Porsche 944 turbos are already at that price point. So I don't think you'll lose money on a car like this, but you'll definitely enjoy having the car and getting to know it and driving it, because I think the car will give you a lot of satisfaction as being a very well-handling car. So that's it. That wraps up our special pick for tonight. To get all the details on this car, please join our Facebook group by clicking on this link on our homepage. That will take you to the Facebook group. You can join the conversation with 10,200 members. This car has had a very active day. There's a lot of commentary from all our members on the car. Most really like the car as well. So join our Facebook group, and if you enjoy the content on this channel, please subscribe and share with friends that like cars. And I thank you very much for your support for this channel. It's growing every day, and that's a good thing. So we'll see you once again on Daily Classics Top Pick, hopefully sooner than you think, because today was a busy car. We found a lot of cars today. Thanks very much, and have a good night. Bye.